very quickly. I'm happy to take calls and help. I watched the short program last night. I've listened today. I come to this more from a filmmaking background than a dance background and a practical background. I actually have to say, from my point of view, and I've been in the business for 17 years, and I think I saw it last night, I think our last panelist, although gave good practical advice, I think all of it begins with an idea and the power of an idea. And in my experience, if the idea is sound, everything else will take care of itself. And to that end, I think that, to be successful in the filmmaking side of the business, but in any creative endeavor, for me, the aspirant instinct defines everything. And ultimately, 18 years into a career in the movie business, I think it's the quality of the idea almost always necessitates and guarantees the result. And if the idea is strong, everything else will follow. So I'm sorry to apologize and take issue, and I know there are practical realities to broadcasts and festivals and distribution and materials. I guess the other thing that I was struck by in watching the films last night, I guess I should say very quickly, I've been an entertainment lawyer. I represented Stanley Kubrick and Darren Aronofsky and Christian Bale. I worked as a film distributor. I acquired movies from Pi to the Blair Witch Project to Requiem for a Dream to Buena Vista Social Club. I've made movies like 1 Hour Photo. I've run an independent film department at an agency. I'm a partner at a talent agency now and represent writers and directors and actors across the spectrum. But one of the things I thought watching the films last night, and that I think about Dance Camera West, is, there's a filmmaking component to putting dance on screen. And I think you don't want to discount the importance when you project something onto a wall or put it on an iPad or a TV channel or a telephone, ultimately, about the element of filmmaking in this undertaking. And what I would encourage you to do, having watched the short films last night, which were all excellent, and having thought about this a little bit, is to not discount the importance of filmmaking partners when one undertakes to marry film and dance. And I think a talent agency can be incredibly helpful and useful to you because it's a relatively unique endeavor. Darren Aronofsky, one of my old friends, I told his first film, I was his lawyer. We went through a long process in Black Swan, which is not bragging, but it's illustrative. What was always interesting to me was the idea of a great shooter shooting movement and how he would translate ballet to the screen. And I think filmmaking, you can't forget, is ultimately, while it records and there are documentary aspects, it is an interpretive art form. And if one is too literal in putting dance on screen, I think one is neither servicing dance nor servicing filmmaking. And I think one of the ways one can help translate the experience of dance, and my wife is a dancer, and my stepmother is a dancer, is by surrounding yourself by cinematographers, producers, editors, writers, if it makes sense, because even movies that don't have words have stories, so storytellers. And I think if you can find your way to find filmmaking collaborators in this endeavor and journey, you're going to find what is produced will be stronger and greater. And then, there are more and more outlets for what I call genre niche programming. And there are greater and greater opportunities with Google TV and Amazon, iPads, to provide blocks of programming. People are looking for blocks of programming. I think the value of a festival like this festival is that this movement will ultimately be a cooperative movement and a collaboration. It's going to be much harder to penetrate the broad mainstream film by film. I think that if you can find ways to link arms and provide coherent visual experiences within the world of dance, you are going to wind up finding ways to create programming and content that people have an interest in seeing. But what I'd invite you to do, I'm not going to take any more time, is if you need to access the more mainstream film business, whether it be bigger film festivals, Telluride, Toronto, Sundance. Think about partnerships with those festivals. If you need to, or think you have stories that can attract different kinds of filmmakers or filmmakers who traditionally live within a more narrative structure, I'm happy to be helpful. And I applaud the undertaking, so thank you very much.